Hi guys, Colleen from Walking the Resonant Path here. I just wanted to tell you about a book I've just finished reading called Buffalo Woman Comes Singing by Brooke Medicine Eagle. So I do what I always do, and I'll read you the blurb and then I'll tell you what I thought of it. Brooke Medicine Eagle, earthkeeper, visionary, teacher, poet and psychologist, was raised on Crow Reservation in Montana. Now, in Buffalo Woman Comes Singing, she traces her spiritual development from her first guided steps on the medicine path to her ongoing work as one of the most highly respected Native American teachers of the modern era. Buffalo Woman Comes Singing explores fascinating uses of traditions like the medicine wheel, healing through ritual action, dream time, and the moon lodge, the woman's place of retreat and visioning. These powerful personal tools integrate ancient wisdom with contemporary experience, as Buffalo Woman calls each spiritual warrior to her own true place in the dance of life. So what I really liked about this was the main message, which was of oneness and unity and of sharing information and of sharing cultures and of looking after and taking care of each other. Now, I really love that, and as you know, that's what I promote on this page. I say you should do whatever resonates within your soul, whatever feels good, and not judge others, and share information, and just love each other, and try and do the best you can, while not letting other people walk all over you and not judge you, and have healthy boundaries for yourself. So I really like that she promotes that oneness and that unity. So I like that part of the book. I also like that at the end of each chapter she had things to do, like journaling things or actual activities to go and do, or meditations or vision quest things that you could do. So that I really liked as well, because as everybody who watches this knows, I like things to do in books, especially in like spiritual books like this. The things that I didn't like are she had a chapter on what she calls ruthless compassion, and to me that was just a way to be rude to people and then trying to cover it with a spiritual name, because in it, like, she tells a story of a friend that she doesn't want to actually do some Feldenkrais, which is some physical work on her friend, because her friend is overweight and she doesn't like the feeling of her friend's mushy, overweight body, which is exactly the words she used. And I thought that was really rude. And she actually told her friend that in that way. She said, "Oh, I just don't like the feeling of your mushy body, so I don't want to do it." And she's called that ruthless compassion. Oh, you have to tell people the honest truth, because then they might be hurt at first, but they really appreciate it later on, and it gives them motivation. Well, that's not true. That may have happened with her friend, but doesn't necessarily happen with other people. Those people could go spiraling into a depression. You don't know what's in their mind. So you have to be very careful when you're doing that with people, and it's not your place to judge anyway. You don't get to say what's too overweight. You don't get to assume that because they're overweight they're unhealthy. You don't get to judge people. And I did find in this book, she talks about her own judgment and how a lot of Indigenous Americans judged her because she's too white to be an Indigenous American, and how white people judged her because she had some Indigenous American blood and she grew up on a reservation in Montana. So she talks about being judged and not like being judged for who she is. And then she goes and judges, especially people she feels are unfit or overweight. She has a very judgment about that a lot throughout the book, and she seems to have a hang up about it. And I didn't like that, because I don't like that, and I don't like trying to couch, things in spiritual terms when you're just being plain rude. So I did not like that part at all, but that was only in one chapter, luckily, and a little bit you can see a prejudice still throughout for people who are overweight or unfit, because she does mention it a reasonable amount of times in there, and I really didn't like that bit. I also didn't like the bit where she defended her teacher who taught her that, when he was calling a guy stupid, and he was saying he was doing it to, encourage him to get educated. Well, there are other ways. You don't do that. That's not ruthless compassion. That's unkindness and rudeness, and you need to know the difference. The other things I didn't like that sometimes got a bit bored and it got a bit waffly in the book. Also, there was a weird bit at the end where she was doing a chapter that was describing people in her courses, which is fine. And what she did in her courses, I don't mind self-promotion in a book, because where else is she going to do it? That's cool. But then she had like testimonials as you were trying to read what they were doing in the courses. And I don't mind testimonials in a book either, but just put the testimonials at the end in one section. Don't do it as you're telling the story of what's happening in your course, because it really interrupted the flow of the reading. So I wasn't thrilled with that bit either. But I really did like the core message of unity and oneness, and of everybody working together, and of sharing information, and caring about each other and helping each other to the benefit of humankind. I did really like that message, and I did like learning about the different tribes and the different traditions in different tribes, and I did like the exercises at the end of each chapter. So I did like a lot of it, but there were some bits I weren't too fond of, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 cauldrons. So that's Buffalo Woman Comes Singing by Brooke Medicine Eagle, 3 out of 5 cauldrons. Well, I hope you have a glorious day and do whatever resonates within your soul. Bye now.